This spring, 3 young men will travel to a faraway land. A land fraught with danger, mystery, and death. All to obtain the greatest treasure of them all, friendship and cool stuff. This spring, 3 men go LARPing!
Well, I've had a coffee, you've had a milkshake, and you're on a Red Bull.
Hello everybody and welcome to a very kind of special episode of Tabletop Weekly. It's a bit unusual to my normal thing. I'm joined by my 2 buds, Alex Smith and Chris Trott from the Hat Folms. And we're going to be talking about a thing that we went to last weekend. Was it last weekend? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels like it was ages ago already. We're going to be talking about Empire LARP. Now this is a what they call a festival LARP, which is a massive 2,000 person live action role playing event here in the UK. It's called Empire and it's run by Profound Decisions. How would you guys describe the setting of Empire?
It's a multi-nation, semi-medieval fantasy-based setting.
You say it's more like Game of Thrones, because I think that maybe is like a good kind of because it's got this very political.
There's a magical element, but it's not forefront of it.
It's not like wizards fireball, lightning bolt, stuff like
none of that, which is great.
So it's kind of like a low magic-y politics, multi-nation thing. But the kind of main thing behind it is all these nations are working together in this empire against these orcs, the bad guys who are trying to invade, and that kind of sets up the barbarians. Yeah. So now we are part of something called Wintermark, which is one of the different nations, and we can talk a little bit about the other ones later on. And we are part of a group called Ashenhall, which is started off by me and a few of my friends outside of Yogscast and videos. And then I brought these 2 along last year. Was your first one?
The last event of last year.
Yeah. So, and that was your first one, miserable weather. No, the weather was alright, wasn't it? It was okay.
Bit of rain.
Bit muddy.
Bit muddy, which is, you do get, unfortunately, with those kind of things. And I brought you guys in, and then you pretty much, this was your second event.
We loved the first event, and then we had to wait 7 months for the next event, and it was so sad.
And would you say you enjoyed the second event way more than the first one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Very much so.
I enjoyed them for completely different reasons.
Okay.
I feel like the first event is probably one of those situations where you'll never have it in the same way again. You know, like in the first event, I was somewhat blown away by the complexity, not in a bad way, the actual depth of the game. And then the second one, it was all about working out how to get the most out of the game.
Yeah, and in the first one, you have that kind of visual, just this is a field just full of people, all in cool tents, in cool costumes, wandering around, and you kind of have this kind of initial, just breathtaking kind of whoa, okay, this is a real thing that I'm doing.
Massive. It's big. The scale of it is big. 2,000 people, the vast majority of which live and camp in character. So we all camp in character. Yeah. With the second event, it was very much right, I'm starting to get a grip on the systems, and now how can I do it? Trott actually reworked his character for the second event.
Yeah,
just 2 weeks before the event, no biggie.
Yeah. So let's talk about our characters, so we give some context. So what is your character within Empire?
So my first character,
we'll come to that a bit later on.
Was called Ulf. And I went into it because I didn't really know much about it, so I went in it with quite a vanilla-y character, quite unassuming, not any particular...
I think that's standard, right?
Yeah,
you have a LARP before,
no massive roleplay cues for me there. So he was your standard semi-Viking, although Wintermark aren't Vikings.
They're not Vikings.
Semi-Viking trader guy who likes to fight, likes to talk to people, keeps himself to himself.
It was super generic, right?
Yeah.
Just because then you can mold it around. That's the nice thing with the system is you could go in there, didn't even have to spend your skill points when you start. You can just go along, see what takes your fancy, and then build it as you go and things like that.
Exactly. And he had more of a combat focus, which I quite quickly discovered, much like in D&D, combat isn't actually the best part of it. It's all the stuff you do outside of combat, which I personally enjoy the most. And I think most D&D players would agree. You're very combat focused now, aren't you?
Yeah. So when you tell us about your character, Trott.
So he's still alive. It's called Grim Varson, and the roleplay element that I chose for Grim, never LARPing before, was Grim is very, very dumb. He can't read or write, and he's learned everything from just experiencing it. And again, we went with the combat focus. We had it's min-maxis, so I've got a stay with me, so if you go down, I'll pick you up with my ability.
Yeah, you guys really coordinated those abilities, didn't you?
Turns out all of that got scrapped after the first event because learning and being in the world, it's like, oh, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
It's not a game like you can just pick stats and pick your abilities and go through it like a video game. It's more like, oh, I want to get stuck into that system. I want to talk to those people. I want to learn about that. And therefore I'll pick up some role-play aspect abilities rather than combat-focused abilities that can unlock that potential. And Grim, he turned into a battle mage.
You went from just some dumb bloke with a shield and sword, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, shield and sword.
Classic frontline shield wall man.
With borrowed armour that you borrowed off all of my mates.
Just a hodgepodge of messy armour.
Feathery bird helmet, like weird leather armour.
Everything was different
Fluffy
shades.
hood that kept turning
Oh, it was
around
a
and
mess.
blinding you.
The cheapest leather like jerkin thing you
It was like a kid's armour,
But at the same
basically.
time, that was quite grim.
It was grim, yeah. It was like cobbled together,
Yeah,
which we
cobbled.
liked.
But Grim has taken a slightly more shamany tone, I'd say. He's become more in touch with the magical side. He doesn't understand it, however, he's embraced it on the battlefield.
But that works in quite well because you took that because it's a great way of playing with Grimm's dumbness, but also knowing a little bit about how magic works, but not really. It gives you a thing that you can go into the game and be like, I've got these powers I don't know, teach me.
It's
Teach me, masters.
I figured out that approaching people with questions is the best way for me to LARP because I don't know anything, right?
And they know everything.
And they know more than me at least.
Yeah.
And I can ask them about what they're doing to help my character roleplay and help them. You know, I think that my character's a facilitator of roleplay. Like, I go up to people and like give them a fucking blindsided question
And
about
then they
religion
have to,
or something that's quite controversial, but I say it in such a naive way. They're like, oh, you can't. Okay, let me explain. Then you sit down, have a nice chat about the system, about Empire, and we're both satisfied by that that interaction. And that's so different from anything else I've ever done.
And you kind of found that with the trading side, because with this event now that you created Grim Ulf initially, and then with this event you kind of went very much into the trading side of things, like selling physical goods to people, like snacks and cookies and things like that, right?
Yeah, so in most online role-playing games, so for example World of Warcraft, which I used to play a lot, some of the most enjoyment I got out of it was trading, making money. Like
Auction house.
I love trading. I love trading in games, and so seeing that one of our hall mates, another person we play with, called Lisa, she at the previous event took us around and she was selling things that she baked in a basket, and so she would go up to players, and when you go to Empire, each event you get given a small amount of in-game money, so it's actual in-game money.
I've got a coin there. I'll do a close-up on that.
Close-up of that. So basically, there's a whole currency system which I bloody love, and it's all metal, and all the coins are customized.
Real.
There's all like different stamps and everything on them. Like it's a really nice, robust currency system. And basically, she would go around and sell her cakes for in-game money, and then she could take that in-game money and she could do interesting things like buy crafting materials to make a new item for herself. Just pay people to do things.
Hire an assassin.
Yeah, hire an assassin. Buy a beer in an in-game bar where you
Yeah.
can use your in-game money. It's awesome. And so immediately I wanted to come up with something to do with that. And so in our downtime before this most recent event, I came up with a company, Ulf and Grimm's Curious Things, and I just wanted to sell stuff. And so my dad made me this like dispensing tray out of wood and leather and stuff, and then I got a load of brown bags and had a customized stamp made with Ulf and Grimm and made it all up. Made some beef jerky, got some other stuff in bulk and bagged it all up and went around and sold it and made like 4 or 5 thrones.
Which is like the highest currency amount of the thing. But it gave you an opportunity to just chat to people, right?
Exactly.
Like because
Go to every nation.
Exactly, because there's 7. I think it's 7 nations within Empire. You've got Wintermark, Navarre, Dawn, Urizen, Varushka, League, Highguard,
And the Imperial Orcs. That's
and
like
then the
8.
Imperial Orcs, 8. So and these are all massive camps. Think of it like these are like groups of like 30, 10, 30 tents all together, all separated around. So actually going around and trading gave us an opportunity to visit each of these ones, see all the different groups, see their different tents, see the way that they do things.
Different costumes.
And they all have different cultures within the
amazing.
game as well.
Yeah.
So if you go to the Brass Coast, which is another one I forgot actually, if you go up to the Brass Coast, their whole thing is about money and trading. So like they would interact very differently to if you go up to like the Navarre or Wintermark and want to trade things like that. So it kind of gives you these interesting things.
Like, for example, there's a nation called Varushka who are kind of loosely based on Eastern Europe and Russia.
Yeah.
And they have a night market where players they literally created a whole market where you can go up and there'll be guys making cocktails or people selling food and drinks and stuff. And this is really awesome. It's in the middle of the night, in the middle of a field with no electric lights. It's all torches and stuff. And it's just awesome. Yeah. It's really immersive.
It's that kind of visible. It's that visual kind of that immersive atmosphere. Like that nighttime is my favourite part of Empire.
Yeah.
Just walking around where everything's lit up with flame and torches. You get the occasional LED lamp, but it's normally been dressed up to make it look magical and things like that, like a glowing orb or like it's been like tissue paper, so it's kind of got a diffused glow.
I noticed that people put the effort in to make everything seem in character. They hide away boxes that are even plastic in any way or look out of place in this semi-medieval fantasy setting. Yeah. It's quite impressive.
It's awesome. Yeah, you would never believe, really. Like,
that's it.
You think like, oh, LARP's going to be cringy and awkward and everyone's going to be embarrassed, but really...
all you ever see about LARP is the combat, right?
Yeah.
That's what people mock, that's what people associate. And they see the people with the beanbags throwing them and shouting, fireball, whatever. Yeah. But that's like it's almost a trope and a stereotype of what LARP really is.
Yeah.
So going back to what Chris was saying about everyone thinking about battles and LARP.
It's like the main, like a lot of people associate that. Because they've seen movies like role models and stuff like that, or they've seen Supernatural.
Combat. Right? There's very little of the other side of it.
And often I would say in those examples the combat looks lame.
Yeah.
But when you are there, and Empire's a bit different because unlike a lot of American systems, like our weapons and stuff, they actually look pretty decent. They don't have like the big sort of like wrapped around, I don't know if you've seen them, they're called buffers. They basically have like swimming pool noodles like covering their weapons with duct tape.
Why?
It looks lame as fuck.
Why?
Because, I don't know, like some safety shit in the US.
Wait, so do they have proper weapons that they then put them on, or they have LARP weapons that they then put them on?
They have like just like a handle with a big noodle wrapped in duct tape. Whereas like this, like, okay, yeah, it's a foam sword, but actually it still looks and feels pretty cool.
When there's like 500 of you with those things at a distance.
And that's what I was going to say is it's when you're in the middle of these fights, like the big battles, which is often, pretty much not quite 1,000 versus 1,000, because a lot of people don't take the field, but I'd say at least 500 versus 500 people.
Easy,
right? And you're in the middle of like these big fields, and everybody. And one thing we should talk about is the way that the battles work at Empire is for one day you play your character and you go out into the battles as your character.
So the event is over a weekend, Friday, Saturday.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the other big battle that you play as one of these guys, which is an orc. You play as one of the barbarian orcs. This is actually my mask. We all bought masks, didn't we? Because we didn't want to wear the shared
masks as well, and shields
and stuff like that. So they get you get supplied with like armor and stuff. But you'll each have one of these. They've got like a certain like a custom made chest plate that every player gets. And when you see 500 of them lined up or in woods,
they're like full head.
Put the mask on. Show
go on.
Alright.
I'm gonna make Chris Trott it.
On top of me just putting this on, you also put
black around your eyes and stuff and things. This will look a bit weird.
It's kind of
so like you've got 500 people wearing these and like matching armor. They've got like weapons and everything else, and it genuinely. It's a bit intimidating. I'd say. Like the adrenaline really gets you because the immersion takes over.
And you don't see my arms. You won't see that.
No, it will be like all blacked up and everything.
You want to kill them. You do want to go for him.
It looks crap on film. Like there's no denying that. It looks like people
that's
doing.
like trying to film airsoft, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like people trying to film.
It still hurts when you get hit, and you've still
got the adrenaline and the immersion.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the benefit of the way it works is there's these two big battles that you go on, and these aren't kind of like the big deals. These are like people have been preparing over like hours, like coordinating attacks, and they have to pick a certain number of battles each event, and they can only do a certain number. So you go on these, and I mean the three of us fight kind of more skirmish line, don't we? I know you did a bit of shield wall stuff as well.
I was mainly in the shield wall this time, yeah.
So like you've got basically two units. In Wintermark we have a big shield wall, which Smith was in, and then myself and Trott were in what we call the skirmishers, which is led by
on the flanks.
Was led by our mate Pud. And we basically like stay behind the shield line and we burst around and try and take out the flanks. But we did a lot of forest fighting. There's also a bit of field fighting that you do as well. And you've got all these different tactics, and you've got magic gets used in there. You've got healers. You actually have like in-game healers, and you're trying to drag the bodies back through the line, like, we need a healer, quick! And like they've got to like
and all
rush
of the
over.
abilities are you must perform at least 5 to 10 seconds of active
Like-
immersive roleplay,
Yeah, absolutely.
like getting out a potion vial or something and dressing their wounds
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Pulling out a bandage,
if you're looking
trying-
around watching this happening, you get
It doesn't pull you out.
you get physics, like you can see them on the floor. The guy on the floor is like, can you help? And then you see someone actually with a real bandage, like bandaging them up, dragging them away.
Yeah.
Someone that's caring about that person going down is like
Heal him
up. And
Well,
it's like
One
it's
example
amazing.
I had was when that was going on. So we were getting pressed really badly by a bunch of orcs, a bunch of the other. So how they do it is they split the nations over 2 days, like you said.
Yeah.
So we were playing against like hundreds of other orcs, and they were smashing our line. I was in the shield ball. I got hit. I got cleaved, which is like a special call you can do when you have a certain ability. You can shout and call cleave and hit somebody. And so that took me off my feet, and so I went down. Somebody dragged me back, and they were bandaging me up, and they bandaged me up, and I went up, and I realised that our shield ball was collapsing against this weight of people of orcs, and so but there was plenty of other people there, so the physics were all trying to help this guy up, and I basically just shoved my shield in front of the physic, and it's just like, work as quickly as you can. I'll hold him up as long as I can, and then you know it's really fun. Like,
And you feel like a hero
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
You've
and they're
got
like,
this kind of
they're
like-
going like, right, you good to go, get up, blah, 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 because
Yeah.
the faster they can work, the quicker that the shield wall gets replenished, and
Yeah.
you know it protects them. It's a
So one thing we should talk about, and I know this is going to be a sore point for you, Smith, death. Characters dying in battle.
Yeah.
We had the unfortunate thing of a bunch of you went out on what we call a skirmish, which is like a quest on Saturday. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
These
You
are
guys
not
went out.
optional
Yeah, these are
battles.
optional. You don't have to go on these. Well, you don't have to go on any battle, but these are kind of super optional.
Yeah.
We basically had somebody run around and say, "We need 100 people to go on this skirmish against the Jotun, these type of orcs.
And that's
Who's
sounded
in?"
fun. Yeah.
And it sounded fun. And my knee was a bit buggered, so I was like, "I'm gonna sit this one out because my knee's hurting." But you guys were like, "Yeah, let's go." So you got armored
from
up.
our hall went.
yeah. And what there's like probably 10, 12 of us in our hall now.
Yeah, there's like 12 of us in our group,
So
just
half-
our little group.
Half of our hall, one being the leader of our hall, went out to this battle.
2 came back alive.
One was me.
One was Trott, and the other one was a girl called Catherine.
And it was
Campbell.
horrifying.
And
but
I mean, you watched it, right? Like, it was literally, you guys got smashed by a superior force. They just came out of nowhere, dropped you guys, and healers couldn't get to you.
Yeah. So they said to us before we went out, it's like, right, we need about 100 people for this skirmish. Make sure you got the numbers, and so they split it between several nations. They
Yeah.
said like, right, we'll take 30 from Wintermark, 30 from the Navarre, 30 from
Whatever.
High
High
Guard it was. Yeah.
and we all
And
came short.
we turned up at the gate, which is like basically this magical gate that people open, and then you go out. In reality, you go through this big archway all done up with rooms.
It's like a fence leading into a field.
And then you go into like a big field that also has a forest on the side of it. So it's really good. It provides a lot of like different kinds of combat.
Yeah.
So you wait by the portal, and they were doing a head count. They're like, right, we're like 20 and the Navarre, where are they? I don't know. I think they've got about 20. So we're like, oh god, that's about 80. There's only about 80 of us. It's like, oh, I'll be fine, because normally skirmishes are like surprise attacks, so we tend to be having an advantage.
Yeah.
So we go out onto the field, go through the portal, go through onto the field, and we didn't actually know the Navarre hadn't come through. But anyway, so about 60 of us start marching down. It was Dawn, I think, was it?
Dawn were leading it, I
Dawn went out, and Dawn, like the knights and all this sort of stuff, they went out, set up their line, and we saw, oh right, god, they're about to get charged over there. Okay, Wintermark, let's set up against this hedgerow to secure our flank. And I was like, wait, who's at the other side of the hedge? We didn't know there was another complete elite unit, and we were like, oh god. And so we try and secure Dawn's flank, then they come in, smash us from the side, and it was just hell from there. One particular thing I remember from it was we didn't have enough healers. We had 4 healers.
One
Right.
healer couldn't make it through the
One
gate.
healer couldn't make it through the gate because of
We
mismatch of
overcounted,
numbers or something
yeah.
like that, right? And then right at the end as well, they said, right, no, we'll swap one of our fighters out for a healer. So we swapped one out, and this healer was like, yeah, I'll come. She'll come from like the triage tent, which is near the gate. She died, right? So she doesn't even. This girl was completely unarmed. So there's a triage tent near
the hospital.
the portal. Yeah, and so that's a bunch of players who basically specialize in healing, and they group together and heal anyone that comes back through the portal hurt. So she's like, yeah, I'll go, and she had like a dress on with like a white front to it, and she was literally just like,
No weapon.
I'll stay at the back, and like, so the generals were like, you need to, the captains of the squad were like, you need to protect her. We're like, yeah, we'll do it. Anyway, she died. So her character.
That was weighing heavy on you.
It's just dead now, and we were like, she was at the last second. She decided to come along, and we were like, yeah, it's
so
fine.
bad.
Yeah,
That's kind of it
though.
though. It's because it's so player led. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, you
I will help.
You got dragged out by another player, right?
Yeah.
Like a guy that you'd met the night before
So
drinking. and
I
stuff.
got, because I was skirmishing on the side, I met up with a lot of the Navarre skirmishers as well, because we all got kind of wedged together by the orcs, and the shield wall was fully pressed on the right hand side with Dawn, and we got split off. There was orcs basically coming, wedging in between, and I was with another guy called Mac from Navarre, and we went out and tried to just overwhelmed by orcs immediately by the woods, and I went down. I got cleaved, similar thing, and thankfully there was a physic and this guy protecting me, like my
They
body.
literally just dragged you through, right?
And it had to be 20 seconds of roleplay for the amount of damage that I was sustaining. And so this Navarre guy who looked badass, but he had like things on his head, like loads of paintings and things like that, and he had 2 axes. He was just like killing orcs. He was like, we'll make it through, it'll be fine. And the physic's like, oh god, he got so much blood. I don't know if I can fix this. And like it got to the point where I was holding Mac's like wrist. He's like, I'm gonna go, man. This is it. It's over. It's like, no, you hold through. And he got me up.
He got you through.
And we killed the final amount
Couple
of orcs.
of folks, yeah.
And we literally got forced through the gate
Through the
by
portal.
a line of orcs.
And once you go through this thing, like it's kind of marked by these 2 prop rocks. Once you go through it, that's it. The refs are like, nope,
You can't
hands
go
up,
back
you're
through.
not coming back. Get on the other side.
And we
You have
got
to go through.
forced through, and I didn't want to leave.
Well, no, you
obviously.
didn't
I was
want to
like,
leave.
where's the rest of
There's
my
like
guys?
5 guys.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
meanwhile,
Yeah.
me,
It was
our
you-
friend Pud, our friend Sue, who else was
Rowley,
there? Rowley was there.
and Alison as well.
So our Alison's, she died as well.
yeah.
So
And Kate,
I know, she kinda came through.
our entire, so we were like the center of the Wintermark line. Like we had quite a few shields, but we were low on shields, and shield wall's kind of how Wintermark fights. So we were all in the shield wall, holding off these bloody orcs as long as we could. And they were like, this was an elite orc unit, so they were really quite good at the game.
Well,
And
to add to that, by the
Yeah.
way, these are the guys that were playing the Elite Ornament, I found this out. They train almost every weekend. Like, they do fake battles, they're reenactors. They are, like, legit fighters.
they
Yeah.
didn't hold back, clearly.
and they didn't. So they kept on reforming for charges. We'd push them back a bit. And anyway, yeah, so that physic got me up, and I said, right, I'll protect you guys. I had this massive shield I bought. So I got commissioned this huge
see if I can
shield.
get a picture
It's
of
like it's like
huge.
40 inches across, which it's like a dining table,
I
right?
can hide behind it.
Yeah, it's not completely high minded, so I was like, right, I'll do it. And so I sort of went up to the line. I'm quite heavy and quite tall for LARP, and so I sort of just put all my weight behind the shield and was slashing at people's feet, right?
That's the way to do it. That's the
And
min-maxy
honestly,
way.
the last thing I remember was like looking back to see if this physic was alright, and then turning around, there's all these fucking spears.
Spears,
They
just
had
like,
so many spears. I was just like, oh god, my head! And then I went down, and then just like, everyone came over the top of me.
And then that's it.
And then that's it. Their line progressed. Trott and the skirmishers had to
Pushed
withdraw.
out,
All the healers withdrew. Basically, the shield was like the last wall before everything broke. And
So, out of the 80 that went, I heard that 36 came back. Everybody else died. Like,
It
all
was a
these other
massacre.
nation players died.
and on average, it's something like 12 players die an event.
Yeah,
and
like,
so
this was a massacre.
We
This
lost
was-
like 50.
This was a massacre.
Yeah.
And the way it works is when you go down, so the idea is everybody has a certain number of hit points, like RPGs, and when you get hit, that's 1 hit point off, right? Now you've got like 9 hits.
Yeah, I'm tough.
So you can get hit 9 times, and then you go on the ground, and then you have a bleed out time. You basically have to count in your head. I think it's like 3.5 minutes,
It's
right?
3 minutes standard, and then
3 minutes
I have
standard.
4 minutes
And you have
for
4
skill.
minutes.
Yeah.
So you and you have to sit there lying on the ground counting, just basically saying, is anybody going to get me up?
Yeah.
Is anybody coming?
Well, because it happened so quick. Like, I turned around, we had everyone behind us. I turned back, fall down, and I'm lying on the floor, staring up at the blue sky.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Watching like, my death is coming.
and you listen out for them. And like, holy shit, they're miles away. Like, they're right on the other end of the field now, going through the gate, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna die. Like, and this,
You
I
had
was
a
just
moment
getting-
of existential crisis.
I've just got into this character, and my character's gonna fucking. I survived 3 battles today.
And you thought about
And
the
I'm
stamp
gonna
you had
die.
made, all the food we
Yeah.
sold earlier today.
And then
It's like the gladiator music comes in,
Yeah.
you're like brushing the long grass.
and the guys, the orcs go by prodding you, like seeing if
Like, you alive?
Yeah.
You kill him.
And then I just heard behind me, oh, alright, Ulf. And I turn around, and there's bloody Pud. Pud's character. Oh my god, you're dead as well. He's like, yeah. oh, there's Rolling as well. And then it's like, oh,
there's
no,
Sue.
not Sue, because Sue's like our Thane. He's like the leader of our thing.
And she's like a really lovely, sweet lady as well. Like, she's just so nice.
And she'd worked on a character for what, 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. She played one. She was one of the
So you can
longest members.
imagine you're attached to Ulf after 2 games.
Yeah.
And imagine what it's like after 2 years
of losing a character.
There is at least some sort of not a sweet, but kind of almost like a bittersweet thing. It's like you guys all came back as dead. Like you died, and they got led off the field.
I was standing at the gate for half an hour.
Yeah. Meanwhile, from my perspective,
Yeah.
you're standing at the gate. We're sat at our camp, like having a drink and eating some snacks. It's like, oh, this skirmish is taking a bit of a long time. And then some random bloke just walks by. He's like, have you heard about the skirmish? And we were like, no. And he's like, oh, it's gone bad. It's like hardly anybody's come back, and we were like, what? And so we like stand up and like I'm running around like asking questions, because like my thing with my characters as a changeling is they have like crazy emotions. They're supposed to be like the summer storm, like they go nuts.
Big
and
peaks and troughs.
Big peaks and troughs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like getting myself worked up for a bit of RP, and I'm like running around asking questions and stuff. Then this guy comes along. We're like, what's
I
happening?
literally come back with like a vacant stare.
Yeah, you were
and I'm with
like,
my Navarre
they're
friend.
dead.
He pulled me away from the gate. It's like, it's over.
Yeah,
They're dead. They're in a better place. And I'm like, no. I'll stand here for another 10 minutes. They're coming back.
They're
I'm
not, and
lost
they weren't.
And he literally dragged me away, and it's like, you've got to tell the rest of your hall. It's like, yeah, they should know.
Yeah. And so you came back. Told us.
I said they're all gone.
And
That's
we
it.
just were like, so we were frantically running around because
There's no one left.
So what had happened the previous year is something very similar, but 15 of us had survived and were trapped behind enemy lines, and we thought, if they're alive, we know what we can do. There's like magic spells, and so we started trying to put this into motion. And we actually run up to a character who kind of has like out of character knowledge. He's like a ref, and you can check with him like, are these people dead? And he's like, okay, well, take me some time, because he's got to radio through and find out. He's like, I'll let you know. And I'm stalking around, and he just walks up to me, and he just puts a hand on my shoulder, and he's like, I'm so sorry, no, none of the people you told me about have lived. And my character just goes blank. So I go back to the hall, and I'm kind of like, thinking, what the fuck am I going to do? These pricks, all dead, come running back, pretending to be my character's pirate crew.
We took all our armour and stuff off, so Mark's character has a ship, fleet.
A fleet, basically.
Yeah. And so we come back and, well, actually, like...
What happens when you die then? So...
Okay, so we die. We die, we bleed out, and then a ref comes and collects you after some time. They asked us for any valuables we had, including enchantments. So I was wearing 3 enchantments.
Oh yeah, those are your artisans ones.
So all of my enchantments. So enchantments allow you to do things. So basically, one of them. So that's what it looks like. So
tie it to your piece of equipment.
Artisans can create items. So artisan is a skill you can take, and they can make these items that give you special abilities. So for example, I had one of my armor that gave me an extra hit. I had another one on my sword which allows me to make a call, like cleave, to take somebody down. And basically they're worth a bit. They take literally months to make between events. You make them on the back end. There's a whole website to do it.
We use resources and money and stuff like that.
So they're worth quite a bit, and I had to get rid of all of those, put them in a pile.
They take any of your coins if you've got coins and
if
stuff.
If you carry coins about, which is dumb as hell.
Very stupid. Luckily, Ulf was smart enough to leave them behind with the hall.
I left them to Grim,
who then promptly took them back.
Yeah, and then you go into the god tent, which is like a tent.
It's like an administration.
And they say like, right, you've died. You need to go and report your character is dead, because basically how Empire works, they track your character using a website, a system, an online database. So right, you need to go and tell the database you're dead. You can create a new character if you want, and creating a character is quite an in-depth process. So we were like, for now. We'll go and see the guys, because it's been like a few hours at this point. We take all our gear off, leave it at a friend's tent in another nation, and walk back, and we decide that we're going to be Mark's character's disgruntled crew.
Because they hadn't been paid.
Yeah.
So these lot come bursting into the large Wintermark camp, and they run up to me. We were in serious mourning, like RP mourning. Like, they're all dead. Like, oh my god.
Drinking.
They come running up to me, and they're like, "Oh, Sigvar, where's our money, you..." All this kind of stuff. And they surrounded me. They literally encircle me, and they're yelling at me. And in my brain, I'm like, I've got to react to this, and I don't know what to do. And then I just start yelling at them. I'm like, you fucking dare! My friends just fucking died. I'll kill you! Fucking da. And then I just had to storm off, because I was like, I don't know how I can keep this up. And so I just left. Angry, oh, I'm so mad way.
Isn't it weird how you have that disassociation from the people you're looking at?
Yeah, I did. I really did.
You're like, these aren't like the people that just came back from the battle.
No.
They're different people.
They're strangers.
That's not Ulf and Conovar and blah, blah, blah.
Hela and stuff
like that.
They're strangers,
yeah. It's weird
how that was the first time I've ever felt truly like I could do the RP thing really hard. Like I was yelling, like getting really angry, and I didn't feel awkward or cringy about it because it felt so like in the moment, and it really hit home.
Something actually happened because like we genuinely had lost our characters.
Yeah,
I felt bereaved for like a good hour.
Well, you said you were like in shock.
Yeah,
you went and got
like,
food and
I just went and sat down on my own for an hour because I'm like,
I'm dead.
What do I do? Like a lot of other players, because a lot of people died. A lot of other players were kind of not happy to die, but they were like, okay, right, I get to make a new character. It's kind of like when you play D&D for a long time, and you're like, I'd love to try a paladin, or
but
I'd love
my
to try
character's
this.
still alive. Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to see this character through to the end.
Exactly.
Right? But when you're brand new to it,
yeah, but when I was like just getting attached to it, I'd made all this bloody branding and stuff for this business, and I quite liked Alfie was fine, and I just literally sat there for an hour like I fucking died on my second event.
yeah, that was it. And we were dealing with this thing. I mean, and the other nice thing is what later on happened is because Empire's very reactive. Like the refs heard about like, oh shit, we've just lost a lot of players. They're going to be pissed. We can set it up so a portal will open and players can go and get revenge. And so they set up this revenge mission.
That was
and
great.
so we had this guy. He came up and he was just like, hey, I know you guys lost some people. We're going on a mission to go kill the Jotun that killed them. Do you want to come? And this was like at night. The fire's going.
Up.
Well, that was it. Like the fire's going. Like,
well.
and it was like everybody's in mourning, and we just looked. Like me and Trott genuinely like looked at each other,
Nodded.
just did like a nod, and I start pulling on my armor. And like Lisa, who kind of plays, she's like our mum, isn't she? She's like the whole mum. She's like, don't you dare! We've already lost too many people today. You're not going anywhere. And I'm just like,
we're just not listening.
I'm just like,
I'm getting my axe out of the weapon rack.
I think I said something like, I have to do this. I didn't go with them before. I have to make this right.
It was like one kill for every dead.
Yeah, and so we got there. We got to the gate, and
it's getting really dark.
It was like dark. It was like almost pitch black, right? Like the moon was out.
Like,
we could just barely
Grim's
see.
gonna die now.
Well, that was it. Like because I know that nighttime missions are the worst because when you go down, people don't see you because it's fucking dark. They don't know you're there to get you up. But we get there, and we thought the gate has closed because nobody was there, and we asked, we're like, look, is this closed?
Yeah.
And they said, no, you can still go through. You've got a few seconds. We ran in.
Yeah.
We were the last two that were allowed as well. We were the last two. We get through. We catch up, and we literally have to stalk through this forest path. Being super quiet. They had guys in ghillie suits pretending to be these like monsters that would like lie down and you couldn't see them. They were just like a grassy
mound. I saw some writhing. I'm like, is this an ambush? They're like under leaves and stuff.
And then these monsters would get up and they were like leading like hostages to us or something. I didn't really understand what was going on. I just wanted to kill orcs.
It was weird. There was like a
girl that they brought.
Undead person.
Yeah.
Who just pushed a girl like into the light and said, "This is one." And just left.
And
we were like,
again.
What was that? What the hell was that?
I just want to kill some orcs!
I'm like, is this a trap?
Yeah, but we kind of like, we slowly crept up and we tried to lure them away, didn't we? The Imperial Orcs tried to like lure them away as a trap.
We hid in lying and
like
waiting.
literally
the Imperial Orcs went out as well.
Yeah, we had some Imperial Orcs with us and they pretended to be the Jotun. And they were like, oh yeah, we're on patrol, come with us, we found something. But the Jotun, the enemy Orcs didn't take the bait. So we all grouped up and we followed through and we basically went through this path.
It went deadly quiet. We heard some Jotun like chatting loudly to each other, like kind of like we slaughtered, blah blah blah, and we followed the noise all the way back. So we all like skirted through and we saw some light at the end of the trees.
Black. You got the moon just coming through this canopy of trees, and they had like these yellow lights up in the trees that kind of cast this like really sickly light over this like open area.
Yeah,
and there was like
saw a line.
There was like a line of 25 Jotun that had obviously just gotten up and they were just getting ready.
And me and him were like fucking tense at this point. This is it. We're gonna kill.
We're gonna kill all these fucking orcs. And we run in and
we're gonna shout the names of the fallen.
We said that we're gonna every time we kill one, we shout the name of somebody that died. And I must admit, like, I'm so sorry if you were an orc in that fight because I think I hit some of them really fucking hard because I just lost it. Like, and I was just like,
you went berserk.
I took on like 3 of them at once. I was like, Kadan, hell, come on, just yelling and just like
the execution he did on one of them.
I was
like, I'm just gonna leave him.
Like there was one who went down and I just kept hitting him in the chest. I was like, ah, just like hacking away.
Also, we were like pulling off.
We were pretending to pull off like these rings that like that was the other thing. Yeah. So just before you guys all died, we had like this big group thing of swearing people in, like,
and the vote for
who's going to be the leader.
Official members of the hall now.
And we got given we gave them like these
big
metal
rings
rings
with our engraved with our
logo
made by another
Another member of
It was
yeah,
really cool.
John.
I was like really happy about it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, these are
nice
really
ring.
cool. I love these. And
then you
I fucking died. And I was like, and we couldn't retrieve them because the bodies were left out on the battlefield and the Jotun loot and
like
yeah.
left and stuff.
But
yeah.
then we had this idea where I was like,
You snuck it to me, didn't you?
see
Yeah.
if you can retrieve their rings. And
Yeah.
so they were.
And so when we
pretending
came back and we like put them on the table, we're like, we got their rings back. And
Yeah.
and it was like a real hero moment, right?
it
Like
felt
I
great.
felt such a badass.
It felt real cool, and that was like the perfect time to come back and be like, we fucking killed them all.
Yeah.
Let's drink.
Do you know what? Like for me, I just have this great memory of me and you just walking this open field, all these fires, and I had like my coat on over my armor, which was kind of flapping behind me. You kind of had the two, like your axe and your rod in your hand,
Yeah.
and we just walked back in like
Covered in all
badasses.
blood.
And like we just stood, and everybody was surprised to see us alive.
Yeah, they
because
all
they
stood
thought
up.
we were gonna die.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were dead, and so they were like genuinely surprised, and we were like, we've done it.
It is done.
It's done, and it was just so cool.
Moments like that is like you can't replicate.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think those are the moments that like when you have that moment, you're like, I get why people LARP. Like that is it. So one thing we were talking about is you have just gotten into the Magic game,
Yes.
but then also with your new character, because all sadly died, you're getting into the religion side of things.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about that because I think those are two massive systems in Empire. Like
They are
that is
big.
where so much role-playing game is. But it's not something I know a lot about. I know a little bit about Magic game, but I don't know anything about religion side of things. So, do you want to talk about that?
So the main religion, or the only religion,
The only religion of Empire.
the only religion in Empire is called the
So
Way.
they say.
And the Way is made up of 7 virtues. And so what people believe
Ambition,
is...
courage, loyalty.
Yeah, so what people believe is that
Pride,
when you
prosperity.
die, your soul leaves your body and it goes through a labyrinth. And how virtuous you were in your previous life determines how quickly you go through the labyrinth. And it's quite a clever game mechanic because it essentially explains
Encourages you.
people creating new characters. Okay, so it's like, oh, but you look similar, or oh, I've died, but I'm coming back. Like you're not the same person. However, it kind of explains reincarnation
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
new player. I like it. It's really
But the other
clever.
thing as well is those virtues, if you are following the virtues, they encourage you to do certain things in the game, like
Yeah.
being ambitious. It kind of not enforces, but encourages you to go out and do things.
Yeah, so the 7 virtues are ambition, courage, loyalty, pride, prosperity, wisdom, and vigilance.
Look at this guy.
So and yeah, each of them, and
I
they're
had that
not
drilled into
necessarily
me.
they're not necessarily what they sound like either. So for example, my new character is actually a priest of prosperity. So priests will specialize in a certain virtue, and prosperity is partly about making money, but it's also about sharing the wealth and making sure that everyone benefits from the fruits of their labor.
And coin is spent as well. It's
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
hoarded.
There are 3 things that cannot be forgiven: the wasting of food, the wasting of magic, and coin gone unspent. And so,
Keep
yeah,
things
but
flowing.
it's really, really interesting, and it's really deep.
Nerd.
Like the virtues have lots and lots of information about them. There's books you can buy in game to read
Yeah.
about them. You can go around. You have skills that you can pick up as well, like.
Yeah.
You can hallow ground to give people an aura, or give items an aura. Or
Curse
you
Yeah,
can,
that's what my next character that I want to play if Sigvald dies is I want to play a priest of courage with Hallow.
Right.
And I want to do things like, and it's going to be an artisan as well. And when I make items for people,
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
also going to name them and like, and
Gonna
what
have
have you done to earn this?
Yeah.
And like, I want to hear the tale, and then I'm going to tell a tale and imbue that into the weapon, and then I give that to them.
Nice.
So hallowing will literally add one of those ribbons
Yeah.
to an item,
Yep.
and it'll say on it like you feel the need to kill.
Yeah, I think there's one for courage, which is like you feel a desire to protect the innocent and to seek out dangers to the Empire. Or
So
something
it's
like
kind of a role-playing cue for other people.
Yeah.
So it gives people fun game as people, good game as people.
And I
Good
think,
game, as we
you
say.
know, roleplay enhancements are what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn that now. It's
Yeah.
not just you don't want a stat in this ability.
Yeah, like plus
you
1
want a
armor
roleplay
means
incentive.
nothing essentially,
Yeah.
does it? Like
But having a roleplay incentive is great. It's
Yeah.
to get you even more immersed into the game.
yeah, and so yeah, the way has a synod, which is like a body, a magisterial body, which votes on certain things. So, for example, there was a story hook this event where somebody believed that they were the reincarnation of a paragon. So, a paragon is like a person who embodies a
Ascended
virtue,
person, yeah.
and you can have visions. It's hugely complicated, but essentially. There's all this whole heresy thing, and you get inquisitors, and people can be excommunicated or killed for heresy.
And the Synod wields considerable power in the
Yeah.
game. In fact, I think the Synod is one of the few bodies that can basically veto the Empress as
Yeah.
well. Like so actually that's a quick thing to talk about. I know we're talking about religion. There's a player emperor or empress that runs the empire. Like you can be voted in as the emperor or empress by a senate. I am the senate. You can actually be voted in by them. And you are the empress of this nation,
Well,
and
yeah.
you can go, kill him,
Yeah.
or I don't vote on this, no,
Yeah.
veto.
Yeah.
And also, you can be overthrown by making bad decisions.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
killed.
And,
Or
and
killed.
the Senate decides on all sorts of political matters. So
And the
like
synod.
resource allocation.
Yeah.
And the synod is religious matters. It's a very deep game,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it so good.
And I think like the priests, they all connect up as well. Like they're kind of very much like Game of Thrones. They're trying to wheel and
Yeah.
deal their way around each other and weasel out of stuff. But
Yeah.
you can also go to them for advice. And priests are there. I think are there. They're great game facilitators, like you said. Like, hey priest, I think I fucked up. Can you give me a quest, or can you tell me how I can do this? And then they come up with something and say, yes, you need to go and do this.
Yeah, and Paul,
Mhm.
the priest in
Arhan.
Priest of wisdom.
really appreciated my roleplay because I was
Grim
dumb
as a
Grim,
shit.
and I've just come into magical abilities, and I've had dreams or whatever. That was my roleplay excuse as to why I've suddenly changed my character entirely between events. And just by asking these questions, the ones that shouldn't be asked, or ones that are never asked because they're so simple, encouraged Arhan to roleplay with me.
And he had to go and learn.
He had
as
to
well.
go learn. He had to go speak to Stormcrows, who was another group within Wintermark. who
That's like the priests, like the
talk
collective
about
priests.
yeah, the collective priests that talk about religion and deal with religious matters. He had to go seek them out, almost like taking me along with him. It's like he's got many questions that I can't answer.
Because like your big thing was just like, but my magic comes from the way, and
Yeah.
that's like mega
That's
heresy. But you were so like, but I don't
I don't
believe in the
understand.
way,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have magic.
Yeah.
Therefore,
No, I was playing dumb.
and
So-
it's great.
And it was facilitating his roleplay. He came up to me afterwards. The whole event was over. It's like, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
And like asking these questions because it just immersed me even
Yeah.
more. It was great.
And I think that's the other thing is because there are contradictions within the system. So you have all this religious stuff, and religion has power. You can make these auras which make people feel more confident or braver or more generous. But then you also have magic, where you have these things called the Eternals, these kind of, almost, I would call them like Fey spirits. They're almost like, they're embodiments of ideas and,
I'd
and
say they're very
archetypes and
Fey.
stuff. They're very
Because
Fey.
they exist in their own realms. As
Yeah,
well.
and they have like magical realms. But they too can put auras and curses and everything else on people.
Although I'd say they're a little more powerful.
Oh, they're
To be
way
honest.
more powerful.
Like-
they are demigods,
Yeah.
effectively.
The magic in the Empire, combat magic is handled very well. It
It's
requires
balanced.
contact.
Yeah.
So I've got a rod.
Yeah.
And I've got spells
Yeah.
on that rod.
But you have to hit somebody to
But you have to
deliver.
physically hit
Yeah.
them. There is no spell casting.
There's no throwing of beanbags or anything
Or
like that.
pointing.
He hits you with his rod. He says repel, and you have to throw yourself
You have to,
5-10 feet
yeah,
back.
you have to get away from them.
And it's fun.
It's like cleave on a sword.
But
Exactly.
then you have the other side of magic, which is ritual magic.
which is
Now,
crazy.
Ritual magic actually requires, I think it's 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes of you actually doing a ritual. And that
Yeah.
can be many things. It can be you playing a song. It can be you putting on a little play. It can be you divining the stars.
Yeah, the classic, like, fire and
Ah,
brimstone.
hellfire!
But the effects of those rituals
Can be nuts.
crazy. So
Yeah.
so there's some very, very in-game stuff. So, for example, there's a ritual of autumn, which focuses on prosperity, which will make give you money. It'll literally make you
Adds money.
400 rings in-game. So rings are like the lowest form of currency. So that's the thing. But then there's another one, for example, the Realm of Winter can do one that it curses an entire region to have no children for a year and just make them barren.
And like, what? There's no game mechanic
No.
for that.
But you can
But you
imagine
can do
just
it.
like,
Like,
yeah.
Oh my god!
And it'll
you
be
can
like the
affect-
talk of the town.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They
everyone's-
will all be talking about it in their region.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
be like,
And
maybe...
it can have knock-on effects, like within the narrative of the bigger story,
Yeah.
and that's where it comes in. Like, there's ones where you can spy on regions. There's one I remember, an old general. This is from before you guys' time. I think my first event. A general, like the field marshal of an army, was cursed with uncontrollable emotions, and so when he went on the battlefield, he couldn't be trusted because he was giving all these orders that were fucking everybody up. And I think a Wintermarker killed him. It was basically like a Mad King scenario. He's like,
Right.
I've got to put this guy down because he's causing too much trouble, too many people are listening to him.
Right, right.
Blah, 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 blah. I think that's what happened. So you can do crazy stuff like that.
And these big rituals, they obviously catch wind of the refs.
Yeah.
And the refs feed that back
Well, they have to. You have to have a
God,
ref there,
The
so-
God tent, and therefore they could, encourage what the next event plot
Yeah.
point
So yeah, before you go to an event, you usually get emails and updates about big story
that's
arcs.
happening,
Yeah, and that would
You can influence that.
And those rituals, some people do them really fucking well. Like,
Yeah.
some people can do amazing rituals that you're like, oh my god, it's like watching a piece of live theatre. Some people aren't so great and it's a bit cringy, but that does happen.
This is what Mark called cringe magic.
Cringe magic,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's one of these things that needs to be handled very delicately.
Yeah.
It's like every element of role playing, isn't it?
It's like some people are good at it and some people just
Yeah.
aren't. And that's fine. One of the things I found out though recently is if you do these rituals, certain rituals, because the way the magic works is there are 6 realms. You have one for each season, so you have spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then you have day and night, right? And each realm has different kind of keywords or like key things associated with it. So summer, for example, is all about, empowering yourself and battle and majesty and glory and adventure. And if you do a ritual that kind of embodies those things, you might catch the attention of an Eternal who then might go like, oh, these guys did a really impressive ritual. I'm going to send a herald, which is kind of like a minion, like a magical minion, and they'll come and meet you in the game and be like, yeah, my master or my mistress has heard of you, would you be interested in this? And they might offer you a deal.
Yeah.
Or they might say like, oh yeah, would you come and help us with this problem? And often, because they're run by a separate team, they're doing a narrative, that can be completely at odds with the Empire or the nation or another group. And then you end up having these clashes.
That big conflict, yeah.
Me and Paul saw the Reaper. Did we tell you about
Oh,
that?
no, I didn't hear about this.
Oh, I didn't see him. I couldn't fucking look at him.
Yeah.
This isn't going to make any sense.
No, it's fine. Like,
But basically,
arrange
some nations, well, every nation has traditions, right? And one of the nations, I think it's the League.
The League.
The League has this thing where during the winter solstice, which was this event, the Reaper comes around and everybody in the League has to wear a mask. And if the Reaper, which is this NPC character, sees you without a mask on, he might kill your character.
Or curse you.
And that's a big deal because it basically affects your entire game, right? It sucks to be cursed, and it certainly sucks to die because you lose everything. It wipes your character. Anyway, so me and Paul, our
who
friend,
plays like a priest character.
who plays a priest. So I'm getting into the priest game. We'll get into that in a bit. We went to the League to buy a copy of the Maxims of the Way, which is basically a book about the religion. And there's a print house in game that makes them. And so we're going there.
I wish you had it. It looks really cool.
We were queuing outside, and somebody just came up to the left of us when we were waiting to go to this print house, and they were like, "The Reaper may be coming. You might want to wear a mask." And Paul has a mask as part of his costume. It's really cool, and I'm like, "What?" and then I was like, "Oh shit, we better get out of here." And then literally it's like quite dark. It's the middle of the night, but there's torches and stuff. And then literally I heard this guy like, "The Reaper calls," and I was just like, "Oh fuck, he's right here." So luckily I had this massive hood thing that we got, like these really massive like shamanistic hoods, and I literally just went like that, pulled it up, pulled my cloak around, and then just hid in the corner. And hid in the corner.
Just like, please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. Please don't look at me.
And so I see his feet walk by, like sweep by. Yeah. See him go by.
Reaper's feet.
He goes into the print house, which is this like big ornate tent, and it's like the Reaper calls, and I hear them talking inside, and then like Paul shuffles up next to me. He's like, "We better fucking go."
We better get out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I was like, he's like, "Okay, I had this mask," and then we just wandered off. It was really cool. It was really like, oh shit.
And that's it. Like, that's the kind of thing. Like
Moments,
those NPC moments and stuff. Like those are the kind of moments that I really fucking love. Like, right. So I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
What would you say, Smith? Give me your favorite top moment from Empire Event 1.
It's event 1 or event 2?
In fact, I was
sorry,
gonna say
E1.
E1.
Yeah.
It's your favorite moment, and also what are you looking forward to most at the next event?
My favourite moment, there was so many to choose from, but one that sticks out was we were in a battle, all lining up, about to take on all of these orcs, armed to the teeth, and there was a mage, or a group of mages, a coven. They prepared a mass weakness ritual, which is super expensive to do in game in terms of cost, and they made an entire like block of an army. Like,
so it's basically like it was like a full brand new regiment of orcs because they'll respawn the orcs like off camera and then they
have all these nasty abilities, like they can cleave, they can.
They had a lobster monster.
They had a big lobster monster guy dressed up as a massive like.
And it looked cool. Like, it sounds lame, but it looked really good.
Yeah.
And like we had this line, didn't we? And then there was this guy that just strode forward.
With the power of stone. It was really good, really high energy. And then a rep comes and goes, "You're all weakened."
And then we just charged in.
Yeah.
Just like,
And they're like, "Fuck!" And they've got no power. It really, really weakens them. And yeah, we
they can't cleave, they can't
steamroll them.
Yeah.
That was probably my favourite moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And what am I looking forward to most? I'm looking forward to getting into the religion game in a big way, and I'm looking forward to whatever the hell we come up with magic-wise for the coven.
Oh yeah,
so our group is starting a coven, which is a group of mages that can do ritual magic. I don't know.
An autumn coven as well.
Yeah, prosperity.
Yeah, prosperity. What about you, Chris Trott? Favourite moment and what are you looking forward to most?
I think just role-playing Grim in general. I enjoyed going up to people with my little book and having them
your little book
teaching me a word so I can learn it.
It's such a good icebreaker, isn't it? Like, nice. Just like, can you help me? I want to learn words.
Yeah.
Please teach me.
And then everyone just like, because they're so active and want to be part of it, they sit me down. But the other thing, obviously, me and you gaining vengeance on the fallen.
Vengeance!
Killing all those Jotun and coming back.
Yeah.
Satisfying.
That was very good.
And what I'm looking forward to is just carrying on the dumb Grim facade.
Being dumb Grim. You just really like that character, don't you?
What's going to happen if he dies?
I'm going to be so gutted. And I think the camp is going to be gutted.
Oh man, yeah. Like, well, we were. We absolutely were. Like, I think, like, the nice thing is, because I introduced you guys to my friends, and they didn't really know who you were. They don't watch YouTube or anything like that.
Which is nice.
And they've just really taken to you guys. Like, they just really like you guys. We have a really good time.
Yeah, they're all, like, the same...
That's it. We've all kind of got the same attitude towards it, I think. Like, we're all nerds, but also they kind of... They want to do RP, but they're not so focused on it that they kind of, never break character and stuff like that. We can have a good laugh with it, I think, which is really nice. I think for me... my favourite moment was Chris Trott setting himself on fire, which we didn't talk about. So we're literally, it's like late at night, you were getting pretty drunk. You were so drunk, and you like stood up chatting to the Krampus, I think, at the time.
No, it was
like a
creepy
Naga guy, shaman. He was chatting to shaman, and then he stood up, and we had these like torches with like fire, like paraffin lamps.
Yeah.
Real flame.
We're all just sitting around, we're just chatting, and then Steve, one of our group, is just like, fire! Someone's on fire! Fire! And we look around, and his like mantle, this like furry thing.
I'm wearing fur.
And he just backed up into this flame, and it lit up like woof. And like we had to quickly like douse him and put you out, and you had no idea. You were so drunk.
I was so nonchalant about it.
You were like, oh, I'm on fire. And then we saw it the next day, and it had like burnt a hole through this thing, like charred it all. That was very funny. That was probably one of
the backstory of our hall. The reason it's called Ashen Hall as well is because the last one burnt down.
Well, we purposely burnt it down to kill loads of orcs, and then we rebuilt it. Then we gave it to the orcs, and then we rebuilt it again. So it's kind of a bit of a sore point.
We're pretty good at building halls now, though.
Yeah. And we have this, and we have a slogan which is "Tempered by Flame," which you lived up to quite well.
Tempered by Flame.
You were being
Bright Mantle.
Bright Mantle. I'm trying to come up with a name for him.
That's a good name.
I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is I really want to get in on this Rionos Eternal game because it's such a perfect match for the character, and I want him to be he's Jack Sparrow. He's like Snag Antler Jack Sparrow basically. And
very
that's what
charismatic.
Yeah,
songs and stories.
I really enjoyed the storytelling and like the naming as well. Like, in fact, actually, that was probably my second favourite moment was telling the story of Ashen Hall to that big group that we had.
Yeah.
And just kind of, it's a little bit of that centre spotlight, kind of like, everyone look at me. Yeah.
And your character lended itself.
And that's it. And I love doing stuff like that. So more of that I think would be really fun. And yeah, it's just a big thank you to everybody at Profound Decisions for putting on a great event. We had an absolute blast.
Awesome. Yes.
Thank you to everybody who added to our game and like added immersion. If you want to give it a go, I will pop a link to Profound Decisions website in the description. It's in the UK. It runs a number of times during the year.
It's awesome.
Hit me up on Twitter if you want a discount code. I can get you a discount off your first event as well.
If
it's really fun.
Want to make us Eternals, let us know.
Definitely make me an Eternal. That is like end goal for Sigvald. Like I think, like I wish to be immortalized in your lore.
I've got so many things I want to talk about, but
there's too much to talk about. Honestly though, it's fantastic.
Well, I think maybe we can do another one after like E2, and we can just do like another little catch up because and it's really fun. It's nice. Maybe try and see if I can get. I tell you what would be really nice actually is if we can get to the rest of Ashen Hall in as well because like they all add like a unique perspective.
Yes.
Because they all do different things and like different parts of the game and stuff as well.
Fingers crossed Grim survives the next event.
Fingers crossed for good old Grim and Sigvald.
Fingers crossed I just make it through one event.
And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time and take care.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.